Okay, so we're back with Bill Little. In the first video, Bill went through a lot of detail. He disassembled the Quadrajet carburetor that he's preparing for our shootout against whatever size Holley works the best on Saturday on Al's 454. Showed you all the modifications he made on disassembly. So we're just making a little bit of a follow-up. He's got some tips for you, some suggestions, more information, just to add on to the initial video. And the next time you see us, we're going to be at Dale Waters Dyno. Okay, Bill, all yours.
Hi guys, back again. I've got a few things to show you that I didn't show you last time. I think I showed you this in the last video, to grind 2 half-moon slots here and here. And what that does, it allows the vacuum to start pulling on these holes sooner. So you get rid of a lot of the bog, or all the bog actually, you know. So you can do that on a trans brake car because you're leaving wide open throttle. They make no difference at all, and we're not using these holes on a trans brake wide open throttle deal anyway. So I dug a couple tubes out. So these are the tubes that would go in here. There's one on each side, and they go down into these wells that I was telling you about that are orificed. Okay, now the power piston looks like this, so this would be in here like this. Okay, and the metering rods, go in here, and they hang down like this. Of course, there's 2 of them. There's a spring underneath here. As soon as the vacuum drops, raises this up into the small portion of the rod. Okay, so that's what you'll find when you take it apart. Before we put it back together, I'm going to show you some other things here. So you've seen my hanger tool here. Okay, and I don't know if Mike Beachy is still in business or not. There's his phone number. He might still have some of these. The factory gives you numbers, or some letters on here. They go from B all the way down to V, I guess, and there's 5 thou between them. Okay, if you don't have the hanger tool, and say you have a G hanger or lower, a trick you can do is take a piece of 30 thou wire. Okay, you're going to cut it so it fits in. Straighten it out so it fits in here. Okay, and then that'll raise the hanger up. That's going to raise the hanger up. So the wire is going to sit in here, on here like this. Okay, maybe glue it on so it can't fall out. And then you're going to put the hanger on, and that'll raise the hanger up about 30 thou, which will be 6. It'll be raise it up 6 letters from whatever you have. Okay, so big block Chev, they like a B, so we'll be using a B hanger. Small block, F to I is usually what they want. That'll be a good starting point. But the factory numbers don't always correspond, so be careful. It's better just to hold them up side by side and see where the hole actually is in here. I think I have another hanger here that I can probably show you. So that's a B hanger right here, and this is a I don't know hanger because I ground it off, but see how the hole is lower here. So you want a hanger with a higher hole. That's basically what I'm saying. Okay, and that wire thing will help do that. You can do that in 3 minutes, and then you can take it for a drive and just see how it drives. Told you about the float already. So we have got some different metering rods here. So we have So we're going to be using AX rods on the 454. They're fairly rich, so that's an AX rod right there. Okay, and these are a CL rod. You can see the difference, but they're both long tip. You see how long that tip is? There are some short tip ones like this. You don't want to use the short tip ones. And there's a medium tip one that looks like this. You can use a medium one as long as the air door is open far enough to pull it into the small section here. I wrote some numbers or some of these rods down. The most popular ones you will use, you'll see them at the end. What else we got here? So for street cars with a you need a vacuum brake of some kind on here to dampen the air valve as it opens. If it opens too fast, it'll snap open and then it snaps closed again. Okay, you want that to be a gradual opening for a street-driven car. Excuse me. If you look at this marine carburetor here, so its choke pull-off takes roughly 1.5 seconds from when I let go of it, and that's what you want, because that basically dampens the air valve opening. Now they have a restriction to do that. They have a small restriction in the end of this piece right here, and it's a 13 thou hole usually. And all the aftermarket, so that's an early style vacuum brake. This is a late style. And you used to be able to get all different ones of these. Now all of them that you buy pretty much, they all act like this. That you just close it and they open up instantly. And that's not what you want. So you can solder this hole shut. All right, and if you buy yourself some small drill bits, okay, you're going to drill that to 13 thou, and that is that drill bit right there. Not very big, is it, Alex? And that's all you need. If you open it any more than 13 thou, it's not going to dampen anymore, believe it or not. So, okay, that's that part. Oh, so many things. There's two different kinds of needle and seat. There's ones that are solid like this, and the fuel has to come out around it and up to the top. GM had this style with a window in the side of it. And the window style seems to me like it should flow better. And it's hard to get those anymore. So what I do, I'll take one of these, mark where you need it, and drill four 80 thou holes all around here, and that'll act the same as that. Okay, that'll allow the fuel to get into the fuel bowl sooner. You have to look where the needle sits there. So it's going to be probably, if you look at that one, see how far that's up? That's probably up about, probably 110 thou from where the needle and seat gasket goes on. The 110 thou should get you above the where the needle actually seats on. So four holes, and that'll help that a lot. What else, Alex? Okay, I'm going to show you the float level here. Now there's a mistake that people make all the time. And where's the needle and seat? Quadrajets use this little wire thing on the needle and seat. It just clips on. Okay. The Quadrajet float's got 2 holes in here. Don't put that clip in the holes. It does not belong in the holes. It belongs like this. Having them in the holes a lot easier to put it together, but you want it like that. We're going to put this in here like this, and you'll drop it a few times. It'll piss you off a little bit, just like that. Patience is a virtue. That's what my mom always told me when I was a kid. Patience is a virtue. I had no patience when I was a kid. All right. Now, for a hard launching car, so hold this pin down here. One thing, make sure that pin is always above this, so the gasket, when the top goes on, it keeps this down. They get bent sometimes, and then it'll move up and down, change your float setting. For a hard launching car, you want the float level to be, you measure the float level from the end of the float to here. Okay, 3/8 to 7/16 of an inch down. And if the car starts, if it stumbles on the wheel stand, lower the float a little bit more. It doesn't make sense, but if you run the 1/4 inch float level, which for the street, a 1/4 inch float level is perfect, but not on a hard launching car. You just got too much fuel in the fuel bowl. You got that, Alex? All right, now I think that's pretty much everything. I probably forgot a bunch of stuff. Here you guys need this book by Cliff Ruggles. He's a Quadrajet expert. He doesn't do them anymore, but this is an excellent book. It shows how it works. It shows the metering. It shows all kinds of passages and stuff in here also. It explains just what I explained. Okay, buy that book, read it. And there's another book here. It's Rochester Carburetors. I've had this since probably 1979 probably. And it's really good for, you can figure out the metering area. So if you're changing jet, you know exactly in square inches and in millimeters how big you're making it or how small you're making it. Now, when you take the metering rods out of the Quadrajet, you need to go down 5 jet sizes. The reason for that, if you measure that tip on a Quadrajet, most of them except motorhomes are 26 thou. So if you went down here and found 26 thou, I marked this already. That's the area right here. And then you go down here and say you have a 71 jet. There's a square inches. You subtract the 2, and that'll tell you what size jet you need with this removed. So a little bit of math, but it's actually fun math. It's not like the crap we learned in high school. So have you ever wondered, those kids that were high scholars in high school, they could do math and geometry and physics. Could you imagine them learning math, physics, geometry on engine stuff like we do every day? They would never be able to grasp it, and yet they expected us to learn it. That's why we didn't want to learn that way, and that's the way they should be teaching today too. So anyway, I hope I didn't upset too many teachers out there. There's also, here's the metering rods right here in this book, all the metering rods. Right. So it shows the sizes, A, B, C, tells you about the hangers and stuff. There's some of this stuff in this book that I've tried and it does not work. So get those 2 books if you can, read them, and there's one more thing. If you're doing a Quadrajet with a spring like this, you can actually change the pickup point where this picks up. So now the throttle has to open up about that far. By taking this off and you grind this slot right here, or you file the slot with a hacksaw blade further, it allows it to pick up sooner. So you can drive around the pits at, say, 1/4 throttle, or on the street at quarter throttle, but you're going to get in the secondary sooner, which is going to make it snappier. Okay? You got to play with some of this stuff. It's not rocket science, and don't be careful that you don't overdo it. Take your time. If you don't know something, read a book, or just find out, because you can ruin a carburetor very fast. I would actually, if I were you guys, I'd buy carburetors at swap meets for $10 and $20, and just buy half a dozen of them and just play with them. So here's a little list that I made.
I can take a picture and put a screenshot
Yep.
of
So
that, Bill.
yep, there's going to be a screenshot with these books and with this also. Excuse my handwriting.
Oh, yours. That's fine.
All the secondary rods that are the most popular. Venturi sizes, 1 and 3/32, 1 and 7/32, some needle and seat information, air valve information, hanger information, idle tube, idle channel, idle air bypass. Some good information there for you to start with. And anyway, I think that's pretty much it, Alan.
Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
So, we're lucky to have Bill on the team. He was a lucky find, and certainly enriched the quality of my videos. And as I said, since the last one, the biggest demand I've had, two. More Bill Little, more Quadrajet. So you got both of them. We're going to see you in a couple of days. We will be on the dyno with this carburetor right here. So Bill's going to come and help me with the tune with the Holleys. We're going to optimize it. We got, between Darrell and I, as many size Holleys as they make, so whatever one works the best. And then we're going to put the Quadrajet on and see what happens and see how it works. So we're working hard to create quality, reliable information. A lot of it you probably can't get anywhere else. And we'll keep doing that. We like what we do. We have a passion for it. And we can go forever, but we need you to help us. Please like and subscribe. Give us comments. I read almost every comment. No, I read every comment. I reply to almost every comment. And we will keep digging. And 2 days from now, we'll be at the dyno and see how all this works. So, okay, Bill.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks for being on our show.
You're welcome.